Hey everyone, Noodle here.
And I'm Oscapt.
And it's Fasnacht.
Happy Fasnacht.
Merry Fasnacht.
Fasnacht is one of, if not the most popular seasonal events in Fallout 76. And I say seasonal because for the last 4 years, they ran it once a year in spring, which is when it's supposed to happen. But this year, they not only ran it on that one-off week where they were running a different special event every day for something, but they've also decided to run it again now from June until July, which makes no sense, but, well, it is Bethesda, so sense is not one of the things that we expect from them. If this is your first Fasnacht, welcome. You're probably excited and confused, and we're going to use this video to talk to you about some of the new stuff that is in this event.
Like new masks. We also have a donation box, which has some issues. We'll talk about AFKing controversy, some new final bosses, and the overall event experience.
So first up, let's talk about the new masks. There are 6 new masks this event.
One of them's a unicorn, a unicorn!
Yay!
I love unicorns.
There's also a minotaur, a turkey, an alien, a robot, and a pig. And each of them comes in 2 variants, a non-glowing uncommon variant and a glowing rare variant.
I'm excited to have new masks. I've been collecting masks for several years now during Fasnacht, and especially this unicorn has me very excited. But I'm yet to get a glowing one.
As you can see here in our magical science spreadsheet, in February of 2023, there were 21 masks in total. And then in February of 2024, there were 29, and now we're up to 41, which is almost double the amount that we had last year. The net result of this is that while the number of masks does not change the random number generator possibility of getting a mask from a particular category, the quantity does change your likelihood of getting any particular mask. A year ago, you had a 14.25% chance of getting any particular uncommon mask and a 0.45% of getting any particular rare mask. And that has fallen to 4.75% chance of getting any particular uncommon mask and a astonishingly small 0.238% chance of getting any particular rare mask, which is honestly almost zero.
So no glowing unicorn for me?
Well, it depends.
Depends on what? I've been good.
Santa doesn't give glowing unicorns.
Oh.
It depends on how many events you run. We figure that an average person maybe can play for 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, giving them a total of 28 possible runs during the 14 days that this event is happening. By probabilistic standards, if you had a perfectly even distribution, they would end up with 1 rare mask, 7 uncommon masks, and 20 common masks, which is quite funny because there are only 5 common masks. So they'd have 4 copies of each of them.
I don't think Bethesda knows what this word means. Common and uncommon.
Yes, there are far more uncommon masks than there are common masks, and you have a far greater chance of getting them.
That might be part of the confusion in mask drops. I think people are relying on the names, and those names are misleading.
It's possible.
We had another interesting comment from someone who said that something must be wrong because he got 3 jesters and a blue devil in a row. And he was wondering why something like that would happen. And I think he's just a victim to a random drop. It would be cool if Bethesda didn't repeat these masks for us. Like if you already got a jester from Fasnacht, then you wouldn't get it again, but we don't have that. However, if they were to change this and you are guaranteed to get only 1 jester, then I think it would dramatically change our drop rate percentages, don't you think?
It would. The more uncommon masks you receive, the higher probability you would have for receiving one of the remaining masks. So that probability of a drop rate of any particular mask would actually go up. And I think that would be positive because it would encourage people to play more, knowing that with every mask they got, they were more likely to get the mask that they want. So continuing with the math, If you wanted to assure yourself of a rare mask, again, in a statistically perfect world, you would need to run the event 20 times. If you wanted to get all of the rare masks in a perfect world, you would need to run the event 420 times. But there are only 336 possible events happening if you ran it 24 hours a day for the entire 14-day period. So it's just not going to happen. You're going to have to run many Fasnachts over many years. But you do have a very good chance of getting all of the uncommon masks, and you have a perfect chance of getting every single one of the common ones.
I know one way that you can run every single event day and night.
What's that?
It's a little controversial, but it's a little thing called AFK.
And we'll talk about that a little later on. First, let's talk about the donation box.
The donation box. Well, that didn't go according to plan, did it?
What is it for?
It's supposed to be for people to donate the masks that they don't want and to collect the ones that they do want, but I don't see it working that way.
How is it working?
It's more of a feeding station for vultures. It gets swarmed by players of all levels the second that the rewards drop for the event, and the box is 99.9% of the time empty.
What we've been seeing from comments in our video about the donation box is that smaller players are going over to the box hoping to collect another mask that maybe they don't have, if it's their first time playing, it's their first Fasnacht, and instead every single thing that gets put into the box gets immediately snarfed up by a level 900 player. So all of the masks are being taken by people who are quite likely going to turn around and sell them in their vending machines, which kind of ruins the whole point of having a donation box. It's not a feed the big players vending machine box, but greed seems to have taken over the Fallout 76 community, at least as far as Fasnacht is concerned.
If you collect a mask from the event that's a duplicate for you, or a triplicate, or a quadruplicate, don't drop it in the box. Instead, find a player who's a smaller level player and offer him a trade or drop it on the ground in front of them, away from people, so that you're actually giving it to someone and you know who's getting it.
We've also seen that people are selling them in their own vending machines, but for like 5 caps. And there's the mumbling, I don't want to say it's a movement yet, but the mumbling of if you see any player selling Fasnacht masks in their vending machine for an egregious sum of money, don't buy them. Just don't buy them on principle. In fact, don't buy anything from them. What sort of things could be done with the donation box to make it better?
We got one very clever comment on the video that said that perhaps you could limit the level at which you can collect from the box. Like, everyone can donate, but if you're higher than level 50, for instance, you can't take from it.
That's a good idea. Somebody else had the idea that you could limit how many items people can take out of it. So you can put as much as you want in, but you can't take out more than 2 things, maybe.
Another idea is that you can limit what people can put into it. For instance, you could only add masks, but no spoiled food or empty plasma cores.
People are retaliating against the high-level vultures by putting garbage into the donation box, because the vultures are just sitting there spamming the take button. So whatever you put in gets immediately taken. So they're putting trash in there to load them down, including things like empty plasma cores, which I thought was quite funny.
It's quite funny, actually, yes.
During a conversation with somebody else in the comments of our donation box video, I had the idea that perhaps they could implement something like the ammo converter, where maybe if you have a bunch of common masks, you could trade them for a random uncommon mask. Or if you had a bunch of uncommons, you could trade them for a random rare mask.
You could also allow people to take out something if they also put something in. That way it's actually a trade.
Yeah. So for every 3 items you put in, you can take 1 item out.
Yeah.
But you can't put in 3 units of spoiled meat and take out a rare mask.
Yeah.
What about the final bosses? What have we seen that's different?
Ooh, the final bosses are buff now, and they're different. Previously, we only had the Mega Sloth.
He's so sweet.
He's so sweet, and I felt bad for killing him. Now we have other enemies. I've seen the Blue Devil, Ogua, and the Grafton Monster, which was surprisingly tough.
I've also seen a Sheep Squatch who was pretty tough.
I think they're using all physically large enemies. I think it makes the game more interesting.
The Megasloth had no ability to fight back unless you were right up on him, whereas something like the Sheep Squatch can fire its quills at you, and it's got that screaming effect. The Blue Devil can scream and make you run away in fear. So it's nice that the bosses are better equipped to fight back instead of just standing there and letting you mow them down.
I think it makes it more rewarding for the players because they actually took down a final boss. Like when the Grafton monster came in, I actually said, whoa, in real life, because I wasn't expecting him. He landed down on us like King Kong and just started stomping with his arms. I was like, whoa, that was nice. Before we move on, we have some awesome news for you guys. You know that earworm of a song at the end of our videos?
In the heart of West Virginia, where the shadows creep and sway.
And the recently released hit singles, Why Can't I Build Here? And Someone Stole My Workshop.
Why can't I build here?
Well, that band, the Wasteland Warblers, just released a full album. We'll drop the link to all the ways you can listen to it in the video description. And we'll also put it in the pinned comment, and you can see all of them on the screen right now as well. The most exciting part of all this, for me, is that they even have a track about this event, Fasnacht. From what we hear, they're filming the music video for it as we speak. So stay tuned for that in the days to come. Life in the Wasteland is a whole lot more fun with some good music.
Somebody asked in a comment why players are willing to spend $100 of real money on a rare mask. So I want to take a moment to talk about a thing called scarcity and perceived value. This particular event is interesting because it only happens once or twice or 6 times a year. This particular event is interesting because it's only supposed to happen once a year, and that's all you can really expect. Anything above that is a gift from Bethesda and you can't count on it. Within the event, there are also rewards that have an astonishingly infrequent rate of appearance. Therefore, those items are perceived as extremely valuable because they are very difficult to get. They become almost a status symbol. If you can march around with a glowing unicorn, people know that you are either really lucky or really rich or really something that reflects positively on yourself. And you can never underestimate how much a person is willing to pay for status and recognition.
It's like a Cybertruck. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. It's rare, so people value it.
I was actually thinking more like a Lamborghini, but unlike a Lamborghini, a glowing unicorn isn't going to get you laid. So that's why you see people willing to pay 40,000 caps. Because think about it, how much is 40,000 caps? If you max out a vendor at 1,400 caps a day, then in a month you'll have 40,000 caps, literally 28.57 days. So that's not a big deal. And it's a lot easier to do that than it is to work the event and possibly never even get that rare Deathclaw mask. If they want it bad enough,
They'll pay.
Or, as Modus likes to say in our Atomic Shop videos, some people have more money than sense. So, Noodle.
Yes, Oscapt?
If you didn't want to pay for a rare mask, but you still wanted to have one, and you didn't have lots of time to play, what other options are there?
So if I have no time and no money, what would I do?
Basically, yes.
There's always the AFK possibility. AFK is kind of a dirty word in the Fallout 76 community.
And we're not going to use this video to get into how to AFK. We have a video about that. Or the mechanics of why people AFK. Like all of the stuff about how and why is somewhere else. You know how we feel about it. You know that we do it. We AFK so that we can get rewards, so that we have time to make videos for all of you to enjoy, and so that we can show the rewards that we get.
Rewards that we then give away.
In many cases, that's true. I dumped 30 masks into the donation box before it turned into a vulture feeding frenzy. A lot of people who have been commenting on our AFK video have some misconceptions about how the rewards are given in the game. And one of them is entirely around drop rates. When a mask has a drop rate, so take the rare masks for example, any individual rare mask has a 0.238% chance of dropping. But in any given event, you have a 5% chance of getting a rare mask. So theoretically, 1 out of every 20 times that you run the event, you should get a rare mask. And that's unique to you. It has nothing to do with the number of people that run the event, the speed at which the event is run, whether you walk fast or slow. As long as the marchers are alive at the end, everybody gets a mask, and the percentage chance of any particular mask is applied individually to every single player.
That's right. It's not 5% chance for somebody in that event to get a rare mask. It's per person. So it doesn't matter if there are 2 of you or 20 of you.
That's exactly right. Many people feel that those who AFK are stealing from them or are somehow making it harder for them to get the rewards that they want. The only argument where that makes sense is if you land on a server where there are 23 people AFKing and you're the only person there who can run Fasnacht.
I've never actually seen that. I've been running every single Fasnacht event since it started, and I've been server hopping to see what's happening in different worlds, and I am yet to come across a world where I see more than 3 AFKers in a single event and then 11 or 12 people running it. So I don't think it's a very common scenario.
I think more common is the game crashing or the game not loading when you switch worlds or various other things around the event itself.
Which, by the way, is also not the fault of AFKers. There's another misconception going around that if there are AFKers present at the event, that somehow adds to the chance of your server crashing. That is a superstition. There's no actual scientific data to prove that.
It's possible that having a server that is fully loaded with a maximum of 24 people increases the probability that that server will become overloaded and crash. And that probability may even go up during an event like Fasnacht where there are many enemies and many bullets and many explosions and many people. But by that logic, AFKers would actually reduce the load on the server because there are fewer bullets and fewer explosions and fewer players participating in the event.
That's absolutely right. Plus, if you do happen upon a server where 19 people are AFKing, just bounce to a different one.
Here's the caveat with server hopping. If you join a server 2 minutes before the hour and you go to Helvetia right when the event starts and you see that there's a bunch of people AFKing and then you try to go to another server, you are very likely to end up on a server that is brand new with no one on it. Actually, you're more likely to have your game crash and not be able to log back in for 15 minutes, but outside of that, you're probably gonna end up on an empty server because that's what Bethesda is doing. They're moving people who join after the event starts to empty servers just to reduce the load on the existing servers. The way to counter this is to not log in 2 minutes before the hour. Log in earlier, quarter till maybe, 20 till, and if you see a bunch of people already at Helvetia on the map, you know that they're AFKing. And at that point, just bounce to a different server. Bounce to a different server until you end up somewhere that does not have a whole bunch of people at Helvetia AFKing and that does have a bunch of other players, and then you'll have a much easier time running the event.
Even if you do decide to stay in a world where it's just you or you and a friend, I think you can absolutely solo Fasnacht or run it with a friend.
100%.
I mean, we've done it. It's tricky. It's it's definitely not easy, but it's doable.
I ran Fasnacht yesterday with a level 90 player and a level 25 player. And the level 25 player was adorable. This person had no idea what to do.
Aww.
In fact, the level 90 player was also a little lost. It was a little like running it by myself. I had to run around and activate all the marchers, and then I had to get all the steins, and then they were like following me around, shooting the squirrels to get the intestines, and then they were like, oh, okay, they didn't know where to put things. But we did it. We started the parade. We marched through the entire thing, and we were able to keep the marchers alive. And we were able to keep most of the marchers alive. I ran out of fuel to use with friendly fire, so I wasn't able to use my cremator as much as I would have liked. And we ended up losing a marcher at the end. But outside of that, all the waves of enemies, we had no issues killing them. And even the sheep squatch at the end couldn't stand up to a 50 cal.
I think the trick is knowing the event already. You have 25 minutes to do all the errands in the beginning. That's more than enough time. You already know where all the collectrons are. And then for enemies, we only have 3 waves. We have 1 wave of rad toads, 1 wave of super mutants, and the wave at the end with the boss and the wolves. And difficulty-wise, I think the waves are even less intense than what we get for Defender Workshop events, which we all run solo all the time anyway.
How are all of you finding this season's Fasnacht? Do you like the new masks? Do you like the donation box? Are you pro AFK or anti AFK? How do you feel about the new bosses? How do you feel about the number of new players? Tell us in the comments.
If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and all that jazz.
Try to remember that this is a game and we're here to have fun. And like the Wasteland Warblers say, if you don't get what you want, Fasnacht will come again.
Yeah.
My name is Oscapt.
And I'm Noodle Pants.
And until next time,
Stay safe out there, Vault Dwellers.
In the heart of West Virginia, where the shadows creep and sway, lies a land of rusted dreams, where the brave dare not stray. Appalachia, oh, it's a treacherous ride, with dangers untold and nowhere